So we can see that two cells are like the first the cell elongate, the nucleus elongate, then there is a
Yeah,
constriction
ma'am.
in the cytoplasm, the cell plasma
Yeah.
membrane side, and the
One thing coming
constriction
now.
grows inward. Kirtana, if you have any doubt, you any question, you just chat, okay? Just type it into the chat box, okay? So what happened, the thing is like that, this constriction go inward, like it come inside and they join together and they make the cell divide into two. This is somewhat like how the plant cell division occurred. I'm just writing so that you can recall it. In case of plant cell division, what happened, the if this is the plant cell, I'm drawing very roughly what happens. Some phagmoplast they deposit here, and the nucleus divide into two, and from here the cytoplasm, just the plasma membrane, just have a fold inward from both the side, and slowly this folding of plasma membrane, they grows inward and inward, and ultimately it just join together and divide the cell into two half, same like amoeba. Okay, fine. Okay, so you can just I can show you here that it is one of the simplest and uncomplicated method of asexual reproduction. The parent cell divide into two, each daughter cell containing a nucleus of its own that is genetically identical to the parent, and the cytoplasm also divide, leading to two equal sized daughter cell. The process repeats itself and the daughter cell grow further and divide in the same way. So this is the binary fission. So what thing you have to keep in mind, that amoeba and euglena, they show the binary fission. Okay, which animals? Amoeba and euglena. Now we will learn budding. What is budding? What happened? Budding is the process of producing an individual through the buds. Means some portion just outgrow like this outgrowth slowly in mature enough, slowly increase in size, and ultimately it shed off from the, when it become fully matured, it shed off from the parent organism. Understand what I told, that from the parent organism one part just part of the body just become an like a outgrowth, and slowly this outgrowth grows, and when it become fully mature, it just shed off from the parent body. Kirtana, you want to say something?
No, ma'am.
You okay, you understood, right, the thing? So this is, you can see this process is known as budding. So here you can see that budding is the process of producing an individual through the buds that develop on the parent body. So Hydra is an organism that reproduces by budding. The bud derives nutrition and shelter from the parent organism, and ultimately detaches once it is fully grown. So what are example? Hydra and yeast. These two organisms show the budding process. Okay. So Hydra, how it reproduced by budding. A small outgrowth called bud is formed on the one side of its body by repetitive mitotic cell division. What cell division take place? Mitosis cell division. Okay. So through mitosis cell division, repetitive mitosis cell division, what happened? The uh, outgrowth is grown up, and the bud gradually grows into a full hydra and developing its mouth and tentacles, and when it becomes fully grown, it just detach from the parent body and start living as a separate organism. So this is the process of budding. Next one is multiple fission. How you learn binary fission, same is like multiple fission. Okay, now talk, Kirtana. Now once you talk, I will try, I will see what I
Can you
whether
hear me?
now can hear. Did you do
Okay.
any change?
No, ma'am, I didn't actually.
And I don't know what happened that time. Okay,
Yeah.
now I can hear you. Yeah. So
Okay,
you,
ma'am.
so you understood, right, until this
Yes.
budding.
Yes, ma'am. I heard it.
Yeah. So in case of, I think I'm recording, so I think some problem is coming. Maybe I'm not sure. Okay. So in case of multiple fission, what happened? Just it is just like binary fission, but in case of binary fission, two organisms are producing. But in case of multiple fission, many organisms are produced. That's why multiple. So it is found in Plasmodium. You know, Plasmodium is the parasite which causes malaria, right? So
Yeah.
in this, during unfavorable, not every time Plasmodium undergo multiple fission. When the environment is very unfavorable, that time the parent cell develop a thick resistant wall around itself, which is called cyst. Okay, this is the parent cell. Now it develop a thick cell wall which is called cyst. Okay, and within this wall the cytoplasm divides many times to form many Plasmodium. Okay, and when conditions become favorable, the cyst will break and this Plasmodium they come out from the cyst. Okay, so this process is called multiple fission. Fine. Now another process is regeneration. Regeneration is a very common process. Can you tell me one animal name which undergo regeneration or which show regeneration?
Yeah, ma'am, I think lizard's tail.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone else?
I think you can say um amphibians in general, like
Amphibia, no. Planaria. Okay,
huh?
planaria, that is a kind of worm. They also do
Oh,
regeneration. Okay,
okay.
okay, fine. So it is the ability to, like, just a minute. Uh, just a minute. Okay, I don't know. Okay, later I will do. Okay, fine. So this is the thing where the like planaria and all, they are doing regeneration. What happened in regeneration? What is regeneration actually? It is the ability of an organism to develop their lost part. As you say that lizard, if we touch the lizard tail, it will just shed off and slowly it will regenerate their lost body part. Okay, but some organism, even though do reproduction by regeneration, they can make a full body. Okay, by the process
Okay,
of
ma'am.
regeneration. So they have
Okay,
high
ma'am.
regenerative capacity. Okay, so it is like in case of planaria, just now I told you hydra also show regeneration. What they do, if you cut the body part into pieces, how many pieces you make, each and every piece will make a new organism. Okay, so
Yes,
it is
ma'am.
carried out by specialized cell which redivide to form a mass of cells from which different cells undergo changes to become different cell type and tissue, and then these changes occur in an organized sequence known as development. Fine. So do you
Yes,
know
ma'am.
what kind of cells actually they have so that they can regenerate themselves?
Uh,
The special kind of cells I wrote here, right? This, they have specialized cells, right? What are these specialized cells called?
Ma'am, I forgot, but I think it's called and like hetero, like I forgot the name actually.
They are called stem cells.
Stem cells. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry, yes,
Fine.
ma'am.
What are stem cells?
Yeah, ma'am. Basically, they're like these multicellular organisms. They have like this potential to like develop into more like it can develop into many different types of cells in the body itself.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
stem cells are different kind. There are different kinds of stem cells. Do you know how many types of stem cells are present?
yeah, ma'am. Like
Because in biotech we will
basically
use this. So I'm
they yeah, ma'am. Like they're um like there are these cells with the capacity to like differentiate and multiply into 200 cells that like um
No, my question is, yeah, I understood that stem cells are the cells, they have the capability to regenerate, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So they are of different types. I can tell you there are three types. Can you tell
Yeah,
me what are the name of these cells? Three type cells?
yeah, ma'am. There's adult stem cells. There's I think embryonic cells, stem cells, and there's the last one is I don't know, think I think
Okay.
multipotent cells.
Can and
Multipotent cells.
hmm?
Um, yeah, ma'am, if I remember, like it's like multipotent. There's the pluripotent.
Hmm.
Then there's the I forgot the first one. They have like this, like
Okay.
it can
Okay.
develop into a new individual. Totipotent cells, I
Correct.
think.
Don't Google
Yeah,
it. Okay.
yeah, yes, ma'am.
So there are three types of stem cells: totipotent, okay,
Yeah,
multipotent, and third one is pluripotent. Okay,
yes,
it's called pluripotent. Okay, so what is the
ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
difference between these three kind of stem cells? Yes, the totipotent stem cells can. I will erase all this thing. Okay, this
Yeah,
writing will be not in my PPT. Okay, so I will
yeah, yeah,
discard the changes. So the totipotent. So if you really want to write it down, this what I am writing, you can note it. Okay, if you want.
yeah, ma'am.
So
Yeah, yeah,
totipotent.
ma'am. I'm writing.
Yeah. So totipotent means these stem cells can develop into a full organism. Okay, into a full organism. So they are called totipotent. As an example, what you can say, what are the totipotent stem cell?
Ma'am, I think the cells of embryo between I think 1 to 3 days is
Yes,
what we learned.
yes,
Yeah,
correct. Like the when they are in blastocyst stage, the zygote, they undergo different type of developmental stages to become an embryo. Okay, so
yes, ma'am.
after fertilization of sperm and ovum, that is called the ball is called zygote, the ball of cell, right? That is called
Yeah, yes,
zygote.
ma'am.
So zygote
Yeah,
undergo subsequent developmental stages like morula, blastula, gastrula, then
yeah,
embryo, right?
yes, ma'am.
So during blastula stage, what happened? They have the totipotent cell, so they can grow into a new organism, right? So sometimes though I am not going to finish this chapter, so I'm giving you the idea. I'm telling you, sometime the twin baby are two type, right? Identical
Yes,
twins and
ma'am.
fraternal twins, right? So in case
Yes,
of
ma'am.
identical twins, there is another reason also, but sometime it happens, if the mother do very much physical work, the womb, within the womb, the zygote is just attached like this, right, with the
Yes, ma'am.
umbilical cord, and with this what I can say, the there is a finger like projection which come out from the uterine wall and from the embryonic membrane also, so they just make like this. Okay, just they attach themselves like lock and key pattern. Okay, that's the embryo is fixed on the wall of the uterus. But if the mother move or do very much physical work, what happen? This
Yeah,
binding get loose, so the
yeah.
embryo, that time the embryo can break into pieces. Understand?
Okay.
So what
Yeah.
happened if this is in this stage, at this stage of development, the cells
Mm-hmm.
are totipotent stem cells. So if the embryo is broken down into pieces, how many pieces it will break, it can develop into that many children or that many offspring. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So sometime 3 children, 4 children develop twin baby, like the baby born together. They are also like that may be a cause. Okay, so totipotent stem cells has the capability to develop a full organism. Okay, each
Okay,
cell
ma'am.
is capable of doing a full organism, making a full organism, each cell of the embryo. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Now come to the point, pluripotent stem cell. Pluripotent stem cells have the capability to regenerate a particular organ. Do you understand?
Okay, ma'am.
To
Yes, ma'am.
regenerate a particular organ. Okay, so what is the
Yes, ma'am.
difference between pluripotent and multipotent? Multipotent stem cell can make a particular lineage of cell, like
Mm-hmm.
in the hematopoietic stem cells, that cells, that those stem cells are present into the bone marrow of long bones like femur, from where the RBCs are produced. So they are capable of producing only RBC, means they cannot make any other organ. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So they are capable of producing cell of a particular lineage. This technical term we have to use. Okay, they are capable.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
multipotent, pluripotent stem cells can make a full organ, but multipotent stem cells can make, they have the capability to regenerate the cells of a particular lineage. Okay,
Okay. Okay, ma'am.
so this is the basic difference between this type of cells. So obviously the organism which are showing regeneration, they have the stem cells. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Now come to the next point, spore formation. So spore formation, you know what happened. It is seen in rhizopus, which is a fungus actually. So rhizopus body, it is made up of thread like structures called hyphae. These are called hyphae. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
this
Yes,
thread like
ma'am.
structure is called hyphae, and the erect hyphae bear a sporangium. Okay, this is the spore bearing sac like structure. Okay, so this is the
Yes,
spore
ma'am.
bearing sac. Okay, so this rhizopus body is made up of hyphae, and at the top of the hyphae there are sporangium, which are actually, or sporangia, which are actually the sac which bear the spore. Okay, which are
Yes,
actually,
ma'am.
spores are the reproductive structure. Okay, so spores are asexually reproducing bodies having a thick protective wall. If you see a spore structure, it has a thick protective wall, and they are produced during unfavorable times and help to tide over the unfavorable environmental condition. So when the spore fall on a suitable medium, each one will form a new individual. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so in this type of organism, they have a spore, means they have a, in their life cycle, they have, two stages of their life cycle. Okay, one where they do gametogenesis, and another where they do sporogenesis. Okay, where they bear
Okay.
the spore, and another stage where they bear the gametes. Fine. So what
Yeah.
happened, they, during unfavorable condition, they can reproduce by the process of spore formation, and when the condition is favorable, they can reproduce by their fertilization process. Okay, where
Mm-hmm.
gametogenesis occur and gametes are fertilized. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
fine. This is the process of spore formation. Now we will read about a very important topic, that is the vegetative propagation. This thing only happen in case of plants. Okay, so
Okay.
vegetative propagation occurring in plant body. So we can say that method by which plant reproduce by their vegetative parts. That's why vegetative reproduction, like stem, root, okay, leaves.
Yeah.
So this kind of vegetative part, जो reproduction happening, that is called the vegetative propagation. So what are the type of vegetative propagation? There are mainly two type of vegetative propagation. One is natural and another is artificial. Okay,
Yes,
so we
ma'am.
will discuss about this in details. Okay, what is the types of methods of vegetative propagation?
Okay,
Though
ma'am.
you have, I hope you have learned already, right? In your
Yeah. Yeah.
syllabus, it has.
Yes,
So we
ma'am.
will just recapitulate all these things, and if you have any doubt, you can ask me. Okay,
Yeah, sure.
so in case of rhizomes, for case of natural vegetative propagation, there are so many processes. Like one is rhizome formation. What happened in this vegetative propagation? This may occur naturally through the development of rhizomes. So what are rhizomes? Rhizomes are modified stems that typically grow horizontally along the surface of or beneath the ground. Okay, here you
Okay,
can
ma'am.
see, this is the rhizome, mainly ginger. These are they show the rhizome. Okay, so their
Yeah.
stem, this is the stem. Actually, you can see the stem grow horizontally either beneath the soil or surface of the soil, right? And
Yes,
they
ma'am.
are the storage site also for growth as growth substances like protein and starches. So as rhizomes extended, extent, roots and shoots may arise from segments of the rhizome and develop into new plants. If you have ginger at your home also, if you keep it for a long time, you can see like at certain places where, like, segments, like where you can see these places, okay, these places where you can see some what I can say, dry scaly leaf.
Okay.
From there you can see some buds appear, and slowly if you keep it for a very long time, you can see that white color bud slowly growing into a stem and leaf like structure, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
And some roots also develop. So so it will ultimately develop into new plants. At that time, if you put it into the soil, it will become a ginger plant, okay. So certain grasses, lily, orchids also propagate in this manner, and edible plant rhizomes include ginger and turmeric, okay.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
main in this process, you have to remember what are rhizomes, okay, what rhizomes, what they store, protein and starches they store, and what are the plants which reproduce by or which do vegetative propagation by rhizome formation, like some grasses, lily and orchids, and also what are the edible plant which show rhizome, ginger and turmeric. Fine. Then we will
Yeah.
learn about runners. Runners are also called stolons, okay, very important.
Yes, ma'am.
Runners are also called stolons, okay. They are very similar to the rhizomes in that they exhibit horizontal growth. This is the runner. You can see they are exhibiting horizontal growth, right, at or
Yes,
just
ma'am.
below the soil surface, either over the surface or below the surface, okay. And unlike rhizomes, they originate from existing stems. As runners grow, they develop root from buds located at nodes or their tips. You see, it is just like rhizomes, right? From in case of rhizomes, also the buds appear from the node region. Okay, these are the node region where the dry scaly leaves you can found. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
So as the runners grow, they develop roots from buds located at nodes or their tips. So intervals between the nodes, between the two nodes, the space between the two nodes is called internode, right? Like
Yes,
this
ma'am.
is a one node, this is one node. So this space is called internode, right?
Yes, ma'am.
And are more widely spaced in runners than in case of rhizomes. Means rhizomes, in case of rhizomes, the internode length is very small. In case of runners, the internode length is very big. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
So new plants will arise at node region where shoots develop. This type of propagation is seen in strawberry plant and currants. Okay. So this
Okay, ma'am.
name here, main important thing is name of the plant. Okay. And
Yeah.
how this is happening. In case of bulb, you can see this is the bulb. You can see they are very round, swollen parts of a stem that are typically found underground. Yes, this is found underground, right? So within these organs of vegetative propagation lies the central shoot of a new plant. Okay, you can see here within these organs of vegetative propagation lies the central shoot of the plant. You can see this is actually give rise to the main stem later. Okay.
Yeah.
And this bulb consists of a bud that is surrounded by layers of fleshy scale like or scaly leaves. These are the scaly leaves, fleshy scaly leaves. Okay, these leaves
Yes,
are a
ma'am.
source of food storage and provide nourishment to the new plant. So you can say like onion, garlic, okay, lily, daffodils, tulips, hyacinths, all are this kind of, they propagate by bulb formation. So you have
Yeah.
seen, right, the onion leaves, the part we
Yeah.
eat, that is actually the leaves, right,
Mm-hmm.
where the food is stored. So if you keep an onion, you have seen already that from the upper portion the new plant come out, right? Means
Yes, ma'am.
then at that time, if you just make a section of it, you can see inside the main stem is lying. Okay, inside this part the main stem is lying. Fine. So we can say bulb consists of a bud that is surrounded by layers of scaly leaves, and these leaves are source of food, of nourishment to the new plant. And this part within this organ of vegetative propagation, the central shoot of the plant lies. Okay. So these
Okay, ma'am.
fleshy leaves, they actually protect the central part of the stem or central shoot part. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
Any doubt, any question you have?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Then comes tuber. This all we have seen at our home also, right? If you
Yes,
keep a
ma'am.
long time onion, whatever, potato, you will get all these structures. So you, in case of tubers, these are called tubers. Okay. So you can see these are vegetative organs that may develop from stem or roots. So stem tubers arise from rhizome or runners that become swollen from storing nutrients. The upper surface of a tuber, you can see the upper surface of the tuber produces a new plant or shoot system, while the
Yeah.
bottom surface produces a root system, right? So you
Yes,
can
ma'am.
see here this produces shoot system, and from the bottom you can see the roots arise, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So potato is quite a good example of stem tuber. Root tuber, you can see in case of root tuber, it originates from roots that have been modified to store nutrients, like you can say carrot, like this kind of things, right? Sweet potato also, dahlias. Okay, these are example of root tubers. Fine.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
main example you have to focus in this part. Then combs.
Okay, ma'am.
So these are enlarged bulb, same, all are almost more or less same. So these are enlarged bulb like underground stems. So these vegetative structures store nutrient in fleshy solid stem tissue and are typically externally surrounded by papery leaves. You can see. So due to their physical appearance, combs are commonly confused with bulbs, but they are not bulbs actually. There is a major difference is that combs contain solid tissue internally and the bulbs have only layers of leaves. Okay, so
Yes,
combs are
ma'am.
not layers of only, they are not only layers of leaves, they have some solid tissue internal. But if you have broken the onion, you have seen that all are actually leaves. One by one, you can take it out, right? The leaves, you can
Yes.
take it out one by one. There is no tissue except the main stem, but or a central stem. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. I'm getting it.
Okay, so this is the main difference between combs and the bulbs. Okay, rest all is
Yes, ma'am.
same. So the combs also produce advantageous roots and possess buds that develop into new plant, and plants that develop from combs include gladiolus, taro. These things are example. Okay. Now
Yes, ma'am.
plantlet. Plantlet are vegetative structure that develop from some plant leaves. You know, right? This is the
Yeah.
like from leaves a new plant arise. So these miniature young plants arise from the meristematic tissue located along the leaf margins. So this mainly arise from the leaf margins. Okay, these plantlets, they are called plantlets. They are small plant. They are called plantlets.
Yes,
So
ma'am.
they arise from the marginal meristematic tissue of the leaf. Fine. So
Yes,
upon
ma'am.
maturity, what happened? The plantlet develop roots. When they mature, they develop. When they are immature, they are look more like this. And when they become mature, they develop into roots, and
Yeah.
ultimately then take root in the soil to form new plants. Okay, so upon maturity develop roots and drop, they will drop from the main leaves, and ultimately the root will stuck into the soil, and ultimately they will grow into a new plant. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so this is the main thing. So what are the plants they develop like this? You can say like spider plants. Okay, then this one kalanche. Okay, these are all like developed from plantlets. Okay, so this is the main types of natural vegetative propagation. So
Okay, ma'am.
all these are very known, well known for us, right? So any question you have from this part?
No, ma'am, not really.
You are okay, right?
Yeah.
So
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, so you understood what are the stem cells.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so stem cells have a very, like nowadays it has a very good implication. What is happening, now we are trying to treat a lot of disease with the stem cell.
Yeah.
When the child born, we preserve the umbilical cord, right? Do you know why?
Yes, ma'am. I think I've heard it like I'm not sure if this is the correct reason, ma'am, but I just
Yeah, you,
heard that
never mind, you tell me.
I'm thinking like because after like a baby is caught, like the blood will be collected, right, ma'am? So probably when they cut like a little of the umbilical cord and they put it, it like how do I say? Like
Hmm?
no, I don't think I know, ma'am.
You
Actually,
know,
I
they
think
content, yeah, they, yeah, what do you think? Tell me.
I mean I know that it helps like in saving lives and it can treat
Yeah, so how it can
diseases.
save,
I don't
how
know how.
how it can save life? Actually, you know, they contain the pluripotent stem cells. This umbilical cord
Okay.
contain pluripotent stem cells. So in future, suppose they caught any kind of cancer disease or any kind of disease, so the organ can be generated from these pluripotent stem cells. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now come to the point, fragmentation. So what happened in case of, generally, you know, Spirogyra, they show the fragmentation process. What happened in this fragmentation process? The parent organism breaks into fragments. These are the parent organism, they breaks into fragments, and each fragment develop into a new organism. Okay, so how many
Yes, ma'am.
fragment they will break down, they will give rise to a new organism, like certain fungi like yeast, like lichens, mold. Okay, vascular and non-vascular plants, cyanobacteria, and certain animal like sponges, cister, planaria, and many annelid also. Annelid means, you know, right?
Yeah, yes, ma'am, I do.
Example of annelid.
Uh, Ma'am, there are these like earthworms and like
Yes, correct.
leeches. Yeah,
Earthworm. Okay. So
yeah.
these kind of animals, they show the fragmentation. They sometimes they propagate or they reproduce by fragmentation process. They increase their number, and these are the, like, you know, uh, organisms which show like the fragmentation process also. Okay. So mainly you
Mhm.
have to know the process is very very like easy. What happened? The septum is formed and the nucleus divide, so it divide into a new, it give rise into a new organism. Okay, so how many
Yes, ma'am.
fragment they break, they give rise to a new organism. Process is very easy, only what are the example, this part is very important. Okay, what are the example of animal organism which show fragmentation? Okay,
Mhm. Yes, ma'am.
now come to the next point, what is parthenogenesis? Okay, so we can say the offspring which develop from a female gamete even without prior fertilization by a male gamete. This is called parthenogenesis. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
you understand? So the offspring, the baby develop from the ovum without getting fertilization.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so until this much in case of the plants or lower group of animals, we have seen there is no involvement of gametes, like there is no gamete like structure. But in case of parthenogenesis, involvement of gamete is there, but the female gamete ovum only give rise to an organism. There is no involvement of fertilization or male gamete. Okay, so which
Yes, ma'am.
organisms show parthenogenesis? Some invertebrates like, you know, nematodes, rotifers,
Mhm.
aphids, and certain vertebrates like lizard, snake, bird, shark, reptile, amphibian, they show parthenogenesis. Fine.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, so this is very
Mhm.
important for your short question. Okay, so you can say like parthenogenesis is the development of an unfertilized egg into an adult animal without fusion with the sperm. Okay, so in nature it takes place in many insects, even the bees also show parthenogenesis. Okay, so the, you know, in case of bees, what happened, the organism which develop from without fertilization or the by the process of parthenogenesis, they give rise to worker class. Okay, worker
Yes,
bees,
ma'am.
or we can say that unfertilized eggs become male drones while the fertilized egg become female workers or queen. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
okay, so the unfertilized egg give rise to male drones. Okay, and fertilized eggs, they have a, in case of bees, bee socialization, you can see they have particular like how can I say, like particular category, right? that is the queen,
Yeah.
drone, and worker bees, right? So you can
Yes,
see
ma'am.
that drones are developed from the unfertilized egg, and the fertilized egg give rise to female queen and female workers. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so very important this one. Then another one, I just tell you the, not with relevant with this topic, but I'm just telling you another one more important terminology is parthenocarpy. Do you know
Mhm.
what is parthenocarpy?
Ma'am, I forgot, ma'am.
Have you heard of that terminology?
Yeah. Yeah, ma'am.
Yeah. So it is actually the, the development of a fruit without seed, seedless fruit.
Yeah, without fertilization. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yes,
So
ma'am.
they are seedless fruits are developed by the process of parthenocarpy. Fine.
Yeah.
Okay. So next we will learn what is plant apomixes. Okay. So it is the reproduction in plant without fertilization. Okay. So this process is called apomixes. What is reproduction in plant without fertilization? So by bryophyte, some ferns, some flowering plants, they show apomixes. Okay.
Mhm.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So apomixes, I told you that in biology some terminology, meaning of some terminology are hidden within that. So apomixes, you can see here, it came from two Greek word. Apo means away from, mixed, mixes means mixed. So the act of mixing of gametes. Okay. So it refers to the occurrence of an asexual reproductive process in the place of normal sexual reproduction,
Mhm.
involving the reduction, division, and fertilization. So sexual reproduction involves meiosis and fertilization, right? But in case of apomixis, since there is no involvement of gametes or fertilization, there is no meiosis, cell division, there is no fertilization. Okay. So
Okay, ma'am.
apomixis can be best described as the reference to the asexual process. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, now come to the next point. So we learn about all this vegetative propagation, all the natural vegetative propagation we have learned about. So what are the importance of this vegetative propagation? So because of this vegetative propagation, plants can bear fruit and flower earlier. Fine. Because
Mhm.
sexual reproduction take a longer time. But
Yes, ma'am.
with the asexual reproduction or vegetative propagation, they can bear fruit and flower earlier. So plants which have lost the ability to produce viable seeds can also reproduce by vegetative propagation. Means suppose their seeds are not viable, their seeds are not capable of generating a offspring. So in that case, they can reproduce by vegetative propagation. Okay, fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So all plants are genetically almost similar to the parent plant. So if in research purpose you need all identical individual, we will do asexual reproduction, this vegetative propagation. Fine. Okay. Seedless variety can be obtained. Just now I told you about parthenocarpy, right?
Yeah.
Now, property of vegetative propagation is also used by horticulturists in developing methods like layering, grafting, to grow many plants like sugarcane, roses, grapes. So if they need, if this is the artificial propagation, those are natural. Okay, so so here we are talking about both natural and artificial, because we are learning about the importance of vegetative propagation. We are not focusing on whether it is artificial or whether it is natural. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
So the artificial vegetative propagation, it has a lot of importance. We can get generation after generation same character. Suppose a mango plant has a very good sweet mango, we can get this plant. So many plants we can generate with this vegetative propagation, right?
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
if we need early fruit, early flower, we can do vegetative propagation. Then if we need seedless fruit, we can do vegetative propagation. Fine. So these are all the advantages of vegetative propagation. Understand?
Okay, ma'am. Yeah.
So now the artificial vegetative propagation, one is very important, which is the tissue culture. Okay. So this technique, what happened actually, in this technique, a new plant is developed from a cell or tissue in a nutrient medium under aseptic condition. Fine. Not in the body of the parent plant, not on the soil. It is grown in the nutrient medium during the beginning time. Okay, in a petri dish, the medium is like a tissue is taken from any part of the plant. Then what happened? It is put in a nutrient medium. You know, if a nowadays you know that we are doing cell also we can culture, right, by putting
Yeah.
it into nutrient medium, in vivo culture, right?
Yes, ma'am.
For the experiment we take the sample cell, then we put it into the nutrient medium, and in nutrient medium the cell can eat, absorb the food, so it can grow and divide, and it can increase their number. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
So what happened? First the tissue sample is taken, then it is put in a petri dish where the nutrient medium is mainly used is agar. Okay,
Yeah.
agar
Yeah.
is yeah, it is a nutrient medium which is widely used. Okay,
Yeah.
so agar growth medium containing nutrients and auxins. Okay, you know auxin is a plant hormone which help in growth, right? It is a plant growth hormone. So hormone auxin is also put here. Okay, then the petri dish is covered, and then slowly after few days what will happen, this small tissue will develop into tiny plantlets. Okay, once these
Okay.
plantlets are little bit grown, like it is okay to transfer into the soil, it is transferred into the compost. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
that is the another nutrient medium. Do you understand? So okay, you know the so the cell or tissue is placed in a nutrient medium where it forms a mass of cell called callus. Very important short question. What is callus? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Hmm?
Yes, ma'am.
Then the callus is transferred into another nutrient medium where it grow into where the tissue will be differentiated and it will grow into a new plant. Just like you see the embryo is a mass of like a ball of cells, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So the same thing here happen, and that ball of cell is called callus. Okay, or mass of cell is called callus. Okay,
Yes, ma'am.
so this is important short question or whatever. Fine. So this is the a brief of tissue culture process. So nowadays this process is widely used. Okay, in
Yes,
case of
ma'am.
plant, in case of animal also. Now come to the other process of artificial vegetative propagation. Fine. So you know what is artificial vegetative propagation? It is a type of plant reproduction that involve human intervention. Okay, it
Yeah.
is not naturally where humans are doing. So the most common type of artificial vegetative reproductive technique include cutting, layering, grafting, suckering, and tissue culture. Tissue culture we already discussed. Okay, so these methods are employed by many farmers and horticulturists to produce healthier crops with more desirable characters. Fine. So what is cutting? That is very easy. We all do. Suppose you take a mango branch, just put it into
Yes,
the
ma'am.
soil, right? So it is a
Yes,
part
ma'am.
of a plant. Typically, a stem or leaf is cut off and planted. Advantageous root develop from the cuttings, and a new plant is formed. So cutting are sometimes treated with hormones before being planted to induce the root development quickly. What hormone is used? That is the auxin hormone. Fine.
Mm-hmm. Yes,
Then
ma'am.
grafting. In case of grafting, it is bit different from the cutting. Cutting, what we do, we simply cut the branch, put into the soil. Okay. But in case
Yes,
of
ma'am.
grafting, what happen? A desired cutting or scion is attached to the stem of another plant. Okay, that remains rooted in the ground. Suppose this is a plant whose root is already in the ground. Then I take the desirable part of the plant, which is called scion. Okay,
Yeah, ma'am.
and it is grafted here. Okay, on the part of plant which is already rooted. So the part of plant which is already rooted, that is called stalk, and the part of plant which is grafted, which that is called scion. Okay, this is also important short question. Then this part is wrapped with a with a layer of with a cloth, and then just over time what happened, uh, and it is also waxed so that it will not damp in water. Okay, Then over time, what will happen? This both will join together and they will make a new plant with new character. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
So they will integrate it with the tissue systems of the base plant over time. Now layering. What is layering? So this method involve okay, this is the layering process. So this method
Yes, ma'am.
involve bending plant branches or stem so that they touch the ground. Okay, here you can see the branches bend so that they can touch the ground, and the portion of branch or stem that is in contact with the ground are then covered with soil. Okay, then we
Yes,
put
ma'am.
soil into it, and then obviously if there is soil, we put water. What will happen? Adventitious root will develop, and that extend from structures other than plant root develop in the part of the like in the parts of the main, like here also roots are there, right? But here also root will develop. Do you understand?
Yes, ma'am. Got it.
Yeah. So covered part covered by the soil, from there adventitious root will develop, and the attached shoot, which is like this one, this branch or stem with a new root is called a layer. Okay, so this type of
Yes, ma'am.
layering also occur naturally also it may happen. So it has like three technique is used, like air layering, mound layering. These types of layerings are present. Okay, so air layering is this one, and what we discussed, that is the mound layering. Do you understand what we
Yes, ma'am.
discussed? That is the mound layering, and another is air layering. Okay, so branches are scraped and covered with plastic to reduce moisture loss. Okay, this is in case of air layering. What happened?
Okay.
Branches are scrapped and they're covered with plastic to reduce the moisture loss, and now new roots will be developed from there, but the branches were scrapped and the branches are removed from the tree and they are planted. Understand? So a polythene is
Mm,
tied
yeah.
to retain the moisture, and when the root will develop, this part is cut and it is planted into the soil. You understand the concept?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now the next point is suckering. Okay, so okay, I will just want to ask you what you understood from this whole discussion. What is your summary? What think you are taking out, taking, like what is your takeaway home? What thing you are taking?
Um, okay, ma'am. So basically, in my opinion, like artificial like vegetative propagation, it basically means
No, no, not only
like,
this part. From the beginning, what you got, what you learned from this total discussion, 2 hour discussion.
ma'am, we did like many topics, right? So,
Hmm.
like, ma'am, what did we do in the first topic? Like, what was the first topic?
You
Name.
tell me what we learned first.
Ma'am, we learned so many. I don't remember topic names. Like, we learned about chromosomes, then we learned about
We learned about life cycle.
yeah, basically first we learned about animal life cycle. Yeah, the frogs. So, ma'am, do you want me to say like what is a life cycle? Like all that?
Hmm. Then
Okay. Ma'am, basically life cycle is like when like few events like brings like new product into like existence, and it follows like growth, and then it has like um yeah,
see,
ma'am,
yeah,
it's
we
like a biological life cycle. Yeah, ma'am.
yeah. So we learn that what is a life cycle? It is the sequential stages of growth and development from birth to death, right?
Yeah.
Then we learn
Um,
few animals' life cycle, right?
yeah, then we learn types. So we learned how it's in animals, we learned how it's in humans, then we learned in plants.
Hmm. How the
Then
different stages of life cycle of three different
three, yeah,
organisms we
species. Yeah.
discussed, right? Then we
Yes,
discussed
ma'am.
about
Um, then we did yeah, ma'am, then we did the type of like what happens in meiosis and mitosis.
hmm,
Like what, like it's part of a topic.
yeah.
Then
Sorry, Kirtana. Hello, are you there?
Yeah, ma'am. Sorry, ma'am. Someone came in the room. Yeah, ma'am. I was saying. So we learned about like, what is the difference between mitosis? Oh yeah. Then we learned about stem cells, and we learned about the three different types of stem cells.
Hmm.
Um, that
Okay,
is,
I'm briefing again. We
yeah,
learn
ma'am.
first what is life cycle, then we discuss
Mm-hmm.
different we discussed with some different organisms life cycle. Then we
Yeah,
learn what are, we discussed a lot about the reproductive stage, so we learn what
yeah,
is the reproduction, right?
yeah. Yes, ma'am.
It is the process of making a new individual, right? So
Yes,
then
ma'am.
we learn what is the process of reproduction or what are the types of reproduction. So there are two main type of reproduction. One is asexual reproduction and another is sexual reproduction.
Sexual.
Okay, then we
Yeah.
discussed in details about the asexual kind of reproduction, right?
Yes,
We
ma'am.
learn that what is asexual reproduction. We know that the process of reproduction where there is no involvement of gamete and fertilization, and
Okay.
where only a single parent is involved, that is called asexual reproduction, right? Then
Yeah.
we learn what are the advantages of asexual reproduction. We learn that asexual reproduction only single parent is required, so the process is very rapid,
Simple.
and the
Yeah.
multiplication, the growth of the offsprings are also very rapid.
More.
They rapid and
Yeah. Yeah.
multiply very quickly, so it is
Mm-hmm.
time saving. And
Yeah.
since there is involvement of a single parent, the offsprings are genetically identical to each other. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
so these are the few advantages of asexual reproduction. Then we learn what kind of asexual reproductions occur in plant and animals. So first we
Yeah,
took
ma'am.
example of animals where we learn about binary fission, multiple fission, right?
Yes,
Then
ma'am.
we learn about fragmentation, and
Yeah.
we anything else I'm missing of binary fission, multiple fission. In case of binary fission, we learn this is found in amoeba, where
Yeah.
the cytoplasm first nucleus elongate, then the
Uh-huh.
nucleus divide, simultaneously cytoplasm also divide, two new organisms
Mm-hmm.
are formed, right? Similarly, in case of multiple fission, where in case of unfavorable condition, a cyst is developed, a tough wall is developed within where the cytoplasm divide into many organism, right? Which is
Yes,
called
ma'am.
so when there is a favorable condition, the cyst will rupture and the organism are released. That is found in
Yes, ma'am.
plasmodium, right? So that
Yes,
is the
ma'am.
this is the fission. Then we learn about budding. We learn that in case of budding, it is found in hydra. We found that in case of hydra, a small bud arise from the part of the body, and it take nutrient and shelter from the parent body, and slowly it grows. When it fully developed, like it has mouth, tentacles, then it detach from the body of the parent, and it live life as an independent individual, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So this thing we learn, that is budding. Then we learn about fragmentation. We learn that in case of mainly it is found in Spirogyra, that is the algae, and we found that it the organism divide into fragments, and from each fragment a new organism is developed, right? Then we learn about regeneration. From regeneration, when we are talking about regeneration, we get to know that stem cells, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
So regeneration process, we learn, yes, stem cells are involved in case of regeneration process, right? Because in case of regeneration, either an organism is regenerate or a new organ is regenerate, right?
Yeah.
When we came to animal plants vegetative propagation or plants asexual reproduction, where you got some natural methods, some artificial methods, right? In case of natural method, we got like runner, we got like rhizomes, we got like bulbs, we got like combs, right?
Mm-hmm.
All these structures we learn. And then we learn that do two very important things, that is the apomixes, and another is parthenogenesis, right? So what is
Yes, ma'am.
parthenogenesis?
Ma'am, we learned about like how to say, like
You
basically
try.
when like a new yeah, I'm like not able to frame words suddenly, but I think it's like when it's basically a method where like individuals, like new individuals, they like develop without any fertilization.
Yes, correct. So
Um,
where we found this kind of, which animals show this kind of
uh,
parthenogenesis?
I think oh, I forgot this one second. No, 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 you told like
Anyone?
I think there's bees. Yeah, there's bees, bugs, ants, like insects.
Not all insects, okay? Bees, aphids,
Oh,
okay, they
yeah,
show
yeah.
the parthenogenesis. So what happened in case of bee? How they develop through parthenogenesis? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yes, ma'am. Like the like method, like basically first like how do I say, like non-fertilized eggs of bees, like
unfertilized, okay?
sorry, unfertilized,
Hmm.
um
They develop into,
unfertilized egg of will do, like they will duplicate because of mitosis.
no, I'm not asking about the process. I'm asking they develop into
Oh,
what category of bee in the unfertilized egg? They will develop into,
like like the last stage. I-
no, like bees have three kind of categories in their hive, right? One is
yeah, drones
yeah,
and queen bee,
yeah.
and
So what
there's
unfertilized egg? What will they like? What kind of an or
males. Y-
what
Ma'am, they'll
kind
be
of,
produced by queens. So
no? Unfertilized egg will give rise to male drones, and fertilized
yeah,
egg
ma'am.
will
So
give rise.
queens will. Oh, okay, okay. I didn't.
We,
Ma'am, can you repeat that?
yeah, unfertilized egg give rise to male drones, okay, and the queen and female workers, they are from fertilized egg, okay.
Yeah.
That, then we learn that what are the artificial vegetative propagation in plant, like different process are involved, like tissue culture. We learn about tissue culture, we learn that what is cutting, how grafting is done, what is layering. So
Yeah.
then in grafting we got two very important name, that is keon and stalk,
Hybrid.
okay. This is
Yeah.
a very important short question, okay,
Yeah.
fine. Okay, that is the thing. And then we learn about suckering. So suckers are attached to a parent plant and form a dense compact mat, okay. Since too many suckers can lead to smaller crop size, so excess numbers are pruned, okay. When it will become very excess, some are cutted, okay, some are pruned.
Okay.
So mature
Yeah.
suckers are cut away from the parent plant and they are transplanted to a new area where they sprout new plants, okay.
Yeah.
So suckering has the dual purpose of growing new shoots and removing the nutrients sucking buds that prohibit a main plant from growing, okay.
Mm-hmm.
You understand?
Yes, ma'am. I got it.
Okay, so these are the main types of artificial vegetative propagation. Now we learn what are the advantages of vegetative propagation. So now what are the advantages of asexual reproduction? Yes, they mates means in in case of asexual reproduction there is no requirement of mates. The process of reproduction is very rapid. An enormous number of organisms can be produced in very less time, because in mitosis, each mitosis the number get double, right? So
Yes, ma'am.
enormous number of organism can be get. Positive genetic influences pass on to the successive generation. The character which are very good, they can pass without any change generation after generation. And in it occurs in various environments. Environmental factor also doesn't affect, okay.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the advantages of asexual reproduction. So what are the disadvantages of asexual reproduction? Obviously, lack of diversity. Why diversity is needed, why our environment, or you can say evolution, choose sexual reproduction over asexual reproduction, because our environment is changing, right, ever changing. It is
Yeah.
changing every time. So to cope
Mm-hmm.
with that changing environment, organism also need to develop new characters, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So struggle for existence. In that case, what happened, the stronger one will survive, the weaker one will abolished,
Yeah.
right? So that's
Yeah.
why diversity is needed. So since the offspring are genetically identical to the parent, they are more susceptible to the same disease. Okay, and nutrient deficiency will also be there, because suppose in a small area, lot of same plants, they need the same kind of food requirement, right? But if
Yes,
there is,
ma'am.
they have some variation within themselves, so their requirement will be different, right?
Yeah.
So all the negative mutations persist generation after generation, like how I told you, like in case of advantage, we told that all the good quality, good characters are restored generation after generation. But a organism is a combination of good and bad, right? So the bad characters, negative mutations also persist, they are also restored generation after generation, which might be a main cause of evolution of that, sorry, abolition of that organism. Understand?
Mm-hmm. Yes, ma'am.
Now, since only one organism is involved, the diversity among organisms is limited. Okay, so they are
Yeah.
unable to adapt to the changing environment, and a single change in the environment would eliminate the entire species.
Mm-hmm.
Understand? So these are the disadvantages of asexual reproduction. So our nature select sexual reproduction over asexual reproduction. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Now come to the next question, what is sexual reproduction? So you know, sexual reproduction in plant, sexual reproduction in human being, the more, means plant also do sexual reproduction, animals also do sexual reproduction, human also do. So the mode of reproduction that take place with the involvement of two individuals of two different sexes, male and female. Okay,
Yeah.
that process is called sexual reproduction. So during this reproduction, male organism having male sex organs produce male gametes, sperm, which is small and
Mm-hmm.
motile. Motile means they are capable to move. And
Yeah.
the female organism having the female sex organ produces ovum, which are generally large and they store food. So male and female gametes fuse to form a zygote, and which will grow into a, ultimately grow into a new organism.
Mm-hmm.
Fine.
Yeah.
So
Okay,
this is
ma'am.
the thing of sexual reproduction. So we can define sexual reproduction in this way, that the process of method of reproduction, mode of reproduction, where fusion of gamete take place, or where fusion of gamete occurs, that is called sexual reproduction. Fine.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So what is the significance of sexual reproduction? Obviously, sexual reproduction involves DNA as well as cellular apparatus of two different organisms, which promote diversity of character in the offspring, which promote the crossing over. So since gametes are derived from two different organisms, result in a new combination of genes, which increase the chances of genetic variation. Understand?
Yes, ma'am.
Anywhere you don't understand, don't get the point, just ask me, okay?
Yeah. Okay, ma'am. The thing is, like, we already did this in school, so I just wanted revision.
Yeah,
So,
so you know
yeah.
everything. That's why I am just giving you just a total mug up.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So sexual reproduction are result in the origin of new species. How? Each time. Okay, you tell me how. How you? What do you think? Very, like, very superficially, you tell me. How you think? How will lead to the
About,
origin of a
ma'am?
new? How sexual reproduction can result in the origin of new species?
uh, like the process, basically like it the like process of sexual reproduction basically is only um like how do I say, like that the mother and the father that carry a mix together in the offspring. And like, I'm not sure, like, mom, you want me to explain what is sexual reproduction?
What is sexual reproduction?
Yeah,
So
mom, do you want me
yeah,
to
sure, sure.
explain what?
Yeah, sure. Just chill, don't get panic. I'm just asking. Okay, we are just discussing
Yeah.
here. Okay, to clear
No,
your
no,
basic
mom, like, I
concept.
didn't understand the question, so
Yeah, I will define it again. So thing is, we just discussing to clear your basic. Okay.
yeah.
So what happen in sexual reproduction? May sperm and ovum, they fuse
Mm-hmm.
together to form a new organism. So when sperm and ovum fusion, what is the meaning of it? Actually, they are nucleus fused together. And you know nucleus contain chromosome, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So ultimately what happened? The chromosome combine, okay? And they give rise to a new character. Fine?
Yes, ma'am.
Get it? You got it?
Uh-huh. Yes, ma'am.
So my question was, why how sexual reproduction result in the origin of new species? I told that one of the main advantage of sexual reproduction is it result in origin of a new species. How does it happen? Yeah, my question is this: what you think?
Ma'am, how? Ma'am, I cannot.
How the sexual
Yeah,
reproduction can result in origin of a new species? You
ma'am,
think?
basically like how sexual reproduction can lead to a new species, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, ma'am. So yeah, ma'am. So like sexual selection normally it's like traditionally it's like ma'am, like your question is just like what is sexual reproduction, right?
No, my question is, if I ask what is sexual reproduction, you has just need to define. My
Okay.
previous slide I defined already, right? My
Yeah.
question is, as an advantage, I told you that sexual reproduction involves DNA as well as cellular apparatus, means it's getting DNA from different parents, two different parents. So it getting new character, right? Hmm?
Yeah.
So there is a development of new variation also. You know what
Mm-hmm.
is
Mm-hmm.
variation, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So now the third point I'm telling you that in this variation lead to the origin of new species. This how
Yeah.
happen?
Oh, okay. Yeah, ma'am. So basically, like the origin of sexual reproduction is basically by prokaryotes. You can say that
Prokaryotes do sexual reproduction. Do you think so?
no, ma'am, they can be like traced to early prokaryotes. Like
What
not
prokaryote?
that prokaryotes do. They can
Okay,
like like during evolution is what I'm saying, ma'am. Like they can be traced
prokaryotes
to
can
early.
prokaryotes cannot do sexual reproduction. I just now told you when I was talking about asexual reproduction.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
give you an example of cyanobacteria, right? Okay, so they basically do the asexual reproduction. They basically do the fission, multiple fission. Okay,
yeah, ma'am.
they don't do sexual reproduction. This thing only done by higher group of organisms. Fine.
Okay, so
Okay,
then, ma'am, can we put it like it's basically like the recombination when like parent genotypes they're like
okay. So my question was,
reorganized. Yeah.
yeah, my question was like how sexual reproduction lead to the origin of new species. Okay, so how we will give the answer? How we will give the answer? We will say that sexual reproduction cause accumulation of new characters, right? What we
Mm-hmm.
will write? Sexual reproduction. Sorry, my handwriting is bit bad. Reproduction cause
Mm-hmm.
accumulation of new character, right?
Uh-huh.
Which lead to the variation, right? Genetic variation, rather we
Okay.
can say.
Yeah, yeah.
So, generation after generation, okay,
Mm-hmm.
these genetic variations
Yeah,
accumulate, okay,
yeah,
which lead, small changes can do a big change, right?
yeah.
So, small genetic variation accumulate over time, over millions of years, not 1 year, 2 year, okay, which lead
Yes,
to
ma'am.
a development of, sorry, development, oh my god, development of new species, okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So then
Yeah.
next advantage we can say that sexual reproduction involve division in the sex organ that reduces the DNA matter to half. Just now I told you gametes. In case of gamete, the meiosis
Uh-huh.
cell division take place. Meiosis cell division also known as reduction division. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So what
Yeah.
happened? The meiosis cell division take place so that the number of the chromosome number in a species remain constant. Okay.
Okay.
So one of the very important significance of sexual reproduction is it help to remain the chromosome number constant, help to remain the chromosome number of a species constant. Fine.